talk about how you are emerging light, not just in the city, but for the industry and for the culture, and found yourself in addiction?
Well, it started off, well, where I come from, addiction didn't look like addiction. So
Say more on that.
It was normalized. Well, everybody smoked dope, you know what I'm saying, in the house. So we knew not to mess with crack, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like heroin and needles and stuff like that. But other things that we seen in the neighborhood, alcohol, drinking, pills, cocaine, you feel what I'm saying? These were things that people had and used that was getting money. You know what I'm saying? So you see the big drug dealer, he got the car, the rims, the jewelry, you know what I'm saying, the girls, you know what I'm saying, we at the clubs, you know, and they have these things and it looks like they're in perfect health at one point in their life, you know, and you looking at it as a kid and you're like, oh, this is it, you know. So once I do get money, I don't have any recollection but to do what I seen, you know what I'm saying? So that would happen, you know, at the age of 12 or something like that. I'd probably start smoking weed.
At 12?
Yeah. And, you know, drinking beer and liquor and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And, but it was normalized. Like, you know, everybody did it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was running in. And then, so the reason why it was so common and normalized, because most of my friends' parents smoked crack, you know what I'm saying? Or was on drugs. Like, you know what I mean? My daddy smoked dope for 50 years. So he went, what he was going to say, you know what I'm saying? And my mama didn't do drugs, but you know what I'm saying? She wasn't powerful enough to just tame a boy.
Yeah.
And you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it started that in the neighborhood, you know, we picked up that. So by the time I got to the industry, it had already been embedded. You know what I mean? I had already had a focus on what to do, what not to do that was like frowned upon. You know, you can't be smoking crack. You know what I'm saying? Nobody does that. You know, we serve that, and I don't have to serve my aunties and uncles and my daddy. You know what I'm saying? So
I got to pause you.
What?
Because you smoking weed at 12, 13, 14.
Yeah.
And, ladies and gentlemen, you smoking weed and you on the youth choir.
No, because so here it was. By the time I really started getting into drugs like that 12, I had begun, because I was singing in the choir since I was like 8.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? So by the time I got that far in, because my grandma used to give me these little gold caps. She was like, baby, sing this Sunday, I'm gonna get you that gold cap. And I had like, by the time I got through singing, I had like 4 of them. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and, you know what I mean? So I started to feel like, you know what, when I started going that way and really knowing what sin was, it used to make me dizzy. Like I could say a cuss word or do something, you know, bad or something, and I would totally get dizzy. Like, this is crazy. Right. It was almost like, I don't know what that feeling was, but you know, by the time I turned 12 and something like that, I was kind of veering off of it. We still went to church, but I was like, and then my cousin them used to be sitting in the front of the, you know, while I was singing that, crying and stuff. He'd be like, why y'all crying and don't singing? That's making me shy. You know what I'm saying? Like, just singing, cuz. I'm like, man, you getting on my nerves. So I kind of like, you know, that's when I was like, singing brings out something in people that make them look at me. And I don't know. I started to perspire, lose deodorant and stuff. Like, I was like, I'm ashamed now. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of veered away from that. And I wanted this persona. I didn't want that persona anymore. I didn't want that singing softness, because my exterior is supposed to be what I was taught to be, was like tough, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So I kind of veered away from it when I started smoking weed and doing stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? You know, and my grandmama always used to say, well, she used to tell my mom, well, this kid gonna be something, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, she had a piano for me and everything.
Wow.
I just didn't.
Could you play it?
Nah, because when I saw it, I kept wondering why my grandma was like, why is this piano sitting in the living room? And she was like, well, that's yours, babe. I was like, what? And then she had this lady come teach me a couple of times until I started like hiding from the lady and stuff like that, because I knew what I wanted to be was something different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would start doing that at that age, and then got to the industry,
and it amplified.
It amplified to the point where like it went from having fun to glorifying it, because I knew that I was like, well, this ain't what my grandmama would approve of, or my mama wouldn't even approve of it, but she can't really, you know what I'm saying, put no hold on it. So, and I felt bad about this. So in my lyrics, I would glorify it. One of my first songs, I was talking about rolling off of pills and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think just to deflect, I just put it in my songs.
Yeah.
And, it went from having a good time to actually, this is an addiction. You know what I mean?
What was that defining moment where you said to yourself, Joe, this is out of control?
A couple of times. You know what I mean? But I said it was out of control, but when you're on a roller coaster, you have thoughts, but the ride hasn't stopped. You know what I mean? I had a lot of, aha moments or light bulbs, like, oh boy, this is getting crazy. But the roller coaster was still rolling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't even think I ever got off in time enough to think sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because the trauma that I went through, I had got shot right after then. Like when I was like 15, I had a colostomy bag on, and, I had got shot up and stuff like that. So that was one of the things that I was traumatized from.
But how did that happen?
In grown people business. You know what I'm saying? And trying to be some out, trying to be some I saw, tough guy,
Right.
You know what I mean? And, and ended up getting shot. You know what I'm saying? So that would play a part in it. It's so many, it's the story I got that led me up to here is super long. You know what I mean? But the thing about what got me here is the music, what I've been through, and how I got out of it. You know what I'm saying? So being shot and coming up and moving around and getting into addiction, and then getting into the industry, and then having the money to fund the addiction. Right. You know what I'm saying? Then the girls, and then the fame, and then hit song after hit song. You know what I mean? It only fueled what I was running from, the trauma.
Yeah. Tell me about the impact of surviving and near OD.
Well, I OD'd. So I didn't understand it.
Were you home? Were you on the road?
I was somewhere I ain't supposed to be.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And, so it was a point where I was trying to run from my professional life and then the hood life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling the professional people, I got this, man. Good. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm going to the hood, and I'm letting the hood people see, oh, I'm famous, bro. I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when that happened, everybody was like, you're not okay. Like, and I was like, and I didn't know what fentanyl was. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand what fentanyl, I didn't never say, oh, I'm about to go buy fentanyl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody gave me fake perk, you know what I'm saying? And I actually had a bunch of them. That one I grabbed out of there, and took it. And next thing you know, I'm unresponsive.
Wow.
For a long time. And it was out of body. You know what I mean? My family and my friends and stuff all around, and seeing me in that state. I'm not knowing, but to be surrounded by people that think you're okay, You know what I mean? Oh, he a rapper. He was just T.I. I just seen him on TV.
Right.
They was at the award. They think you're okay just because of that. You know what I'm saying? But in the inside, like, it was things that, I didn't want to battle. I didn't want to face, you know what I mean? And, just padding it, with drug use.
And coming out of it, how did that impact your life?
Coming out of it. I realized that God he was watching over me, and he carried me through that.
Yeah.
It impacted me because I felt like what had happened was for a reason. And I felt like my children was looking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.